are diehards. Tottenham diehards. Tottenham diehards. 'Cause we're Tottenham. Till I die, yes, we're Tottenham till I die. Till I die, till I die.
Good evening, everybody. Paul, you don't know where your picture on. I can see you, but not your shiny, lovely face. Good evening. Another Sunday, another home defeat where the game finished. I'm trying to find the banner. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Brighton and Hove Albion 4. Good evening to our guests. We're going to have an end of season night tonight, so a number of people coming on, people coming off as the evening goes, and we will talk about all things Tottenham, not least of which that wonderful night on Wednesday, but that awful defeat today and our league position of 17th. Which is the lowest that we've had since we were relegated, I think, in 1977. 38 points, which is which is 2 below what's meant to be the minimum survival level. Although 40 points very rarely, excuse me, gets you relegated. Paul, can you hear me?
We're struggling to get him in. I think he's gone off again. He's probably log off and come back on if you can, Paul.
Probably the easiest thing. Well, good evening, Adrian.
Yeah, good evening. Yeah, I was at the game today. One of them, wasn't it? Game of two halves, really. Even though second half wasn't a painful watch. We were always on to the fact that after about they've scored, like they were the better team. There's only going to be one team going to go on and win this game, as we're all still in party mode. So, yeah. But I'm fine. We'll get into it and all the celebrations and stuff like that as well, I'm sure.
I think I can see Paul's bum. I'll have to kick him and take his jeans off.
He's got the scar. He's putting the flag up for today on the side there.
Flags out.
Getting the flags out.
What we're waiting for Paul.
Hello.
All right, how we doing?
Are you there?
You need to face the camera, Paul. See the flag. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, you can't see you. You can see the flag.
Yeah. That's why he's put the flag. Here we go.
Brad's here as well. So let's Evening, Brad. How are you?
I'm here.
I'll explain in a few minutes. I'm having fights on all the WhatsApp groups at the moment.
Hold on.
It's all a bit on the depressing side. Look, let's start. Let's talk about today. We'll talk about Wednesday, and we'll talk about the summer.
Right.
I've tried.
This is today's team, yeah?
I've tried to mute Paul, but he's back. He's there now. Right. Okay.
Okay. I'm sure his face. Here we go. Here we are.
That's better. Brad, let's talk to you first. Starting lineup. Stronger than you thought?
Yeah, I mean, let's face it. Son was injured.
Evening.
Romero was evening. Romero, well, I mean, injured. I mean, it might be hangovers more than anything, but no, they were injured, so he didn't play them. But yeah, it was. I think he didn't. I mean, let's face it, he's playing weakened lineups because he was so nervous, and rightly so, about our main players getting injured, which they effectively did. If you look at Bergvall, Madison, and Kulishevsky, all went from literally quarter-final onwards, semi-final onwards. So no wonder he played a weakened team in the league games. But today, last game of the season, you want to win it, I guess. But yeah, so I thought that was a pretty, I thought maybe Richarlison might have started, but maybe he was feeling it a bit. But no, I mean, it's a reasonably strong team.
Adrian, yourself?
We've got a booster.
Yeah, I looked at that team and I thought, well, I thought it was a bit stronger. I thought there were going to be a sprinkling of kids in this, but that didn't happen.
I mean, I think giving Gray a go, I think, you got to give him another chance. And then Bentancur obviously was replaced by Basuma. I mean, Bentancur could have got a red card today. I mean, it was he sived the guy down. It's like you couldn't argue with that for a yellow for a start. But I guess Tell deserves a bit of a go. He flatters to deceive a bit, but he deserved to go. And you got your top goal scorer playing Johnson. So
yeah, Adrian, your thoughts on the team?
Yeah, I mean, I thought the team was quite strong. I thought, this team, we're not going to play the kids no matter what, and sort of throw the game. Although we ended up sort of throwing it anyway. But I thought actually it was a decent lineup, unless you want to carry on and talk about the first half or whatever. But I thought that's a decent lineup. And I was interested more with Gray because and I watched him during the game actually because he's only had a few starts in midfield. So, and actually I thought he did well first half.
He did. Well, I think they all did really. To be honest.
Yeah, and we could have, if the keeper didn't block that shot and all that, we could have gone in 2-0 up. We could have probably maybe even got a third, but in the first half. But this has been the story of our season, Brad. Though.
Yeah, and it's. I think the second half. I think the 5 days of partying took its toll. To be honest, because let's face it. I mean, we've all seen the celebrations after the game and on the parade. Literally everyone at that club had been partying. I mean, you only had to see the presentation and the swearing by Heung-min Son. I mean, wow, that sort of stuff. So I think that probably kicked in the second half. I mean, these are elite athletes, so they don't normally drink. Normally during the season, even at the end of the season, they might have a couple of drinks. But after winning something like that, they're going to go for it. And to be fair, Ange encourage them to do so because you've got to enjoy these moments because they don't come very often. I mean, you want them to, but you've got to enjoy them. So I think second half it kicked in. The substitutions, I think Davis, and I know Ange shouldn't be sentimental. I think Davis coming on was a sentimental substitution. So that could be his last game for Tottenham, so, and he's a left-sided centre-back, so he's going to replace Van der Ven, isn't he? So I think that was a substitution. Basuma coming on was for Bentancur. Bentancur, obviously, that was on the yellow card. So,
I thought Doggy was poor today. He might as well, every time he got the ball, he might as well have picked it up and give it to them because it was the effort and the stamina surging forward. But and even Tell,
But stop you. Let me bring in Paul. I know you've had a bit of trouble coming on and off. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I've reverted to my phone because my laptop doesn't seem to be picking you up.
Seem to like us.
Phone looks good, yeah.
Let me just say hello to a couple of people in our chats. There are 99 of you on already, which is absolutely wonderful. So hi, always Peter, my bestie in Melbourne, 6:08. Will it be now 6:14? I reckon. Peter, good morning to you. From Nita, good evening, panel chat, Tottenham till I die. How was the game today?
Was there a game today?
Game 2 halves.
Paul, absolutely.
I didn't know there was a game today. I thought it was just a celebration and a party.
It actually reminded me of the last game at White Hart Lane, that sort of party atmosphere. I mean, obviously the game at White Hart Lane, we won it, but yeah, it had that sort of party atmosphere. And I'm not saying 4-1 flattered Brighton, but the third goal was a penalty we gave them, silly penalty, and the fourth goal, no one's stopping it. What a great shot! No one's stopping that, So maybe 4-1 may have flattered Brighton, but we didn't play well in the second half. You can't argue with that. But no one's going to be looking at it, are they? When they look at the honours board in whenever, it will say Europa League winners, Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. It won't say, in brackets, by the way, they finished 17th and lost a load of games. It won't say that.
No, that penalty, by the way, the one for Bissouma, I'm trying to think there was a game and it was almost to the identical piece of grass. He made a similarly rash tackle and gave away.
That's Chelsea.
And I'm trying to remember what game it was.
It was Chelsea.
Yeah, it was.
It was Chelsea because he came running in, and there are undiscovered tribes in deepest Africa that knew he was going to foul the guy, going in. And he thought, this is a penalty. And he just sived the guy down. And
Very good. Paul, were you surprised that the team was as strong as it was?
Yeah. I thought we were going to have a team of kids and reserves. I'm amazed. But, half of them still have hangovers.
Oh, yeah. Even the kids probably as well.
Can I introduce to the stage the famous, illustrious Julie Welch?
Hello.
Julie, as I'm sure most of you will know, was a pioneering journalist back in the day, the first woman in the press box where women were tolerated by some, welcomed by a few, and detested by one who has to remain nameless. While he remains alive,
he's dead.
Name and shame.
No,
more,
sorry.
not name names.
Too mean.
Julie has spent too much time in the press box because she complained on Wednesday night that she was jumped on by hairy men and had beer splashed over her.
Wonderful. Which is fantastic.
Which for the rest of us is perfectly normal. But
and don't mention a deep crush on Danny Blanchflower, right?
That was a long time ago. I mean, I've still got a deep crush on Eric Dyer. So, not to mention Ben Davies,
Julie, were you there today?
Well, hello, everybody, anyway.
Welcome.
Yeah. I'm sort of quite late into this dialogue, and I don't know what you've been talking about. Is it the awfulness of today's defeat? Is it Angie and Ange out?
Well, no, we haven't got to that. Don't get me started on that.
The Angie and Ange out, the new version of the Okie Kokie, right? We'll get on to that later. We'll get on to that. No, we're partying. We're still partying.
Yeah. One of the great nights of my life.
Today? Julie, what were your thoughts about today? Was it what you expected, or
it was? Well, the thing is, I just thought, maybe because of Wednesday night, we'll get a performance today, and I thought, if Ange managed to sort of get a tune out of the team today, then I'd feel I'd want him to stay. But the fact that it was so awful, and he threw the league basically to concentrate on the Europa, and quite rightly as it turned out. But
which we all wanted.
Yeah. But next season is just going to be so different. I mean, the PL is going to be very important because I can't see us surviving very long in the Champions League, which means that we need to be up to scratch in the league. And I don't think he's canny enough tactically to cope with the league programme. I love Ange. I think he's a fantastic man. He's a real bloke, compared to Mourinho and Conte. I just sort of loved his style. But, my head is ruling my heart now. I just can't see us doing anything as long as he stays. And I've got a feeling that, there's going to be this little announcement sometime soon by mutual consent.
Well, Yeah, it's funny you should say that, Julie, because I've been saying that for a few months now, that mutual consent, even if we win, it'll go. But now I'm not so sure. Yeah, it's a strike. I know he's left a lot of clubs after winning things. He's done that. So, he doesn't suffer falls gladly. I mean, on the tactical thing, I don't think he's as bad tactically as everyone thinks he is. I mean, he got it spot on against Man United. I know in some ways he was forced to, because of we had the creative midfielders were just all in.
Yeah,
So
no midfield.
but he got it spot on. Everyone said, "Why are you playing Sarr?" Sarr did well,
Yeah.
Why haven't you got Sonny in? Sonny should be on. No, didn't play him. He played Richarlison, who was absolutely brilliant in that game, defensively more than anything.
Yeah.
And then Sonny comes on at the end. So I think he got it spot on there. I'm not saying that. My opinion's always been that the Premier League has got so many good teams in it that you can't get away with what you can maybe get away in Scotland or whatever, where you've only got one or two decent teams. But in the Premier League, there are many, many teams, many good coaches. So, I think he learns. And again, I think it's down to our second 11. Our second 11 aren't up to scratch.
That's always been the way.
We went most of the season without our first 11, if you look at our defence. And when we brought them on, they're decent players, but they're not up to the same calibre. So it's down to Mr. Levy, who said in his conference after the final win, I want this team to be top and challenging all the time at the very, very, very top. Well,
then he's got to stop buying kids.
Exactly. And even Ange in his press conference before this game said, I asked him what he'd learned, and he sort of said, well, yeah, we obviously need a lot of experience to go with these young players. And hope so. He's come out and said it. He said a few things, actually, I noticed, that he mentioned the club, didn't he? He kept on mentioning the club. He said, I wanted to win, so maybe the club didn't want to do it this way, but which they're all right. And he kept on saying, which they've got the right to. I just reading between the lines, I think his vision and what the club's vision, I think, might be different. And that'll come with the transfer market, whether we pay the money, whether we pay the wages and get decent players in, ready-made decent players, to go with these absolutely wonderful kids that we got there.
I just think that Ange is very stubborn and he's a gambler. And it just comes back to what I was saying. You can't gamble in the Premier League and you can't be stubborn. I mean, it'd be lovely to win the FA Cup next season. I'm sure that Ange would be up to that. But I just cannot see us doing anything in the PL. It's just going to be the same old. As I'm just repeating myself, basically, you need a canny tactician, whether it's
I'm going to bring in fellow contributor to Julie's book with Steve Perriman, Kev Clark. Good evening, Kev.
Sorry, say again.
You managed
Hi, everyone.
Get there today.
Where's the trombone? Not trombone. The
Tuba.
The tuba.
tuba.
It's behind me. It's behind me. I almost didn't play it, actually, because the neighbour's got a young baby. So, but it is behind me.
Kev, I'll bring Paul in after, because I know Paul is probably the biggest 76 trombones in there. Paul is probably the biggest angina of all of the people I know. You were at the game. You would have heard the singing from your section of Angela Postecoglou and all that. So what's your view? What's your view about Ange and where we're going as a club?
Well, I think it's like a lot of people. It's sort of flip-flopping all the time. The crowd at the parade as well were all behind him. And lots of singing of his names, but then it was all sort of chorus-led anyway. But yeah, I mean, he got a great round of applause when he did his speech on the podium. But I think I've been hearing people saying the tactics for United were great. We still left big flipping gaps on the right-hand side, mind you. Our right-hand side for them, especially in the last 10 minutes when they sort of had 3 against 1 most of the time. but it worked. But it just doesn't seem to be able to do that in the league. Although today was similar until all the goals were down the other end, so couldn't see really what went wrong at corners and things like that. But cracking goal for their fourth goal, obviously.
Well, yeah, you can't.
It is. I'm wavering again. I think. I don't think I've been Angie most of the time.
Can I make a point? Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm hogging the conversation here. Can I just make the point that I've been arguing with people on other groups? I don't think now is the time to think about Angie or Angie out. I think now is the time to celebrate what we've done.
Yep.
And I've spent 4 or 5 days laughing, crying, drinking, and celebrating an absolutely amazing win. And all I go on, and I'm not saying, Julie, people like you, I'm seeing people, we lost 17 games. It's like, well, no, let's talk about that near the start. Let's talk about Angie or Angie out and what we're going to do near the start in August before the season starts. Let's see what
He'll have gone by then.
Yeah. Well, maybe he has. If that's the case, fine, But I just think it's not the time now.
Yeah, let me bring Paul in, Paul Kramer, because Paul, you are, as I say, the biggest Angina. There's a question there I've fed you. The main question I have, and I think it's a very good question and pertinent question. Everyone being honest here, how many people said they take 17th and a trophy at the start of the season? And did I get what I wished for? I mean, top 4's not a trophy. We want to win a trophy. That was what people wanted. There's a lot of young people that have been starved of success. Those of us in our 60s and beyond have seen a lot of cups, a lot of glory times. Some of the younger generation have no idea what it's like. So what's your view?
I would take 17th and a trophy every season.
Yeah.
To have the feeling that we've had on Wednesday night in Bilbao, and the journey there, the journey back, the parade on Friday, that was so special. And how people can forget within the last 80 hours since we won a trophy. Now they want, people are just so fickle, and I don't get it. I really don't understand. They've forgotten all the good things that have happened this season, whether it be the 4-0 at Man City or the 3-0 at Man United or beating Man United 4 times. The 4-1 against Villa at home, the 4-0 against Everton, the 5-0 away at Southampton. There's been plenty of good moments, but people only want to concentrate on the negatives, and I don't understand it.
Yeah,
I'm a very positive person, and I feel today at the parade, the after show, whatever, the lap of honour, when Levy's face came up on the screen, there was a lot of booing. And
That was funny.
Yeah, if he pushes the button and trigger or whatever and gets rid of Ange, there will be riots. But season ticket renewal is only until what, tomorrow, Tuesday?
Yeah,
and then
I've done mine.
Yeah, I've done mine as well.
So I'm not sure what to do, because if Ange goes and Gareth Southgate comes in because he's a good fit, and you've got a Knight of the Realm leading your club, blah, blah. I mean, do me a favour. How many of those guys that have been mentioned, Frank, Areola, or the other guys, how many of them have won anything other than an FA Cup? They're not. Ange wins trophies wherever he goes. It's in his second season, mate. So I don't know what happens in season 3. We have to wait and see. We have to wait and see. But if I don't want him to go.
Let me put the question back to you. And I mean, I've wavered. I'm probably with you. I'd like to see him start the season. My worry is that he doesn't have the tactical acumen to succeed at the very highest level. And the reality is, hang on, let me finish the question, that winning the Europa League is much easier than winning, say, the FA Cup or even coming in the top 4 of the Premier League.
Why then did he, in his first season, did we win the first 5 games and we're top of the league? How did that happen? Was that just luck?
Yeah, well, the argument is that once teams got used to the way he played, they were able to counter it much more easily.
I don't think that. I think the kamikaze football that everyone was talking about earlier in the season. I think that's disappearing now. Yeah, we still play the high line, but I think I think he has tweaked it a little bit. I think
Look at our last 3 European away games. We conceded 0 goals,
Yeah,
exactly. Yes,
and we weren't supposed to be winning any of those 3 games.
Yeah.
Frankfurt away, it's a terrible, stadium you go to. It's really tough there. Blah blah blah. Bodo Glimt, it's on artificial grass. Wednesday night, Man United were favourites. We didn't concede a goal. Don't tell me he doesn't know how to.
But why is he not doing it? And I'm going to go round the panel then on this. Why is he not doing it week in, week out in the league? In fact, why is week in, week out in the league been the exact opposite?
I think. Oh, sorry, go on, Paul.
Well, I'm just going to say the injuries have got a lot to do with it, and they're not an excuse. And look at today, we had our 5 best players not playing: Romero, Madison, Kulusevski, Bergvall, and Son. So what are you supposed to do? You're playing without a spine of your team, pretty much. So
Julie,
I can't. Today was nothing. We were 1 up at half time today. I was more in shock about that than anything else today. So I fully expected us to get thumped.
Julie, you've got that pensive look, which I have sometimes when I'm thinking very hard and my brain starts to whir. What is that whirring telling you?
It's just, you can't, as Bill Nicholson once said, you can't be sentimental in football. And now it's even more essential not to be sentimental than it was back then. The whole debate reminds me a bit, because I'm so old, I can remember the great debate about Bill offloading Jimmy Greaves to West Ham. Should he have done that?
1970.
220,000 for Peters in a swap.
Yeah, I remember that. As a kid, I was 10 years old, 9 years old. As a kid, I love Jimmy Greaves, my favourite player of all time, but I was more excited about we're signing Martin Peters. Wow, it's really weird as your logic as a kid. And you know what? I go to football now. I wish I had the innocence of kids watching football. I really do, because all I see now is cynical old men and women on these shows going, "Oh, this shouldn't happen, that shouldn't have happened," and I see myself getting. Well, I include myself in that. I go, oh, bloody hell, and the anxiety about the games and that sort of thing. I'd just love to have that innocence of young kids watching football and just enjoying.
Yeah, but it kills you in the end. It just kills you. I mean, even now, I go to the stadium feeling this sort of hope, and we concede 1 minute in, and I'm not cynical. I mean, I come to football with my whole heart all the time. And as I say, if my heart were ruling my head, I would want Ange to stay. But if speaking with my head, I can only reiterate that he just hasn't got it in him to manage a squad, a Thin Levy type squad, both in the Premier League and in the Champions League. I think it might. I don't know whether it's personality, whether it's temperament or not, but he just doesn't. When it comes to the PL, he doesn't have it. Someone said it's in Scotland. There's only a couple of teams really you got to worry about, but God, we lost 1-0 to Ipswich. Possibly the worst team.
2-1.
Yeah. How did that happen? I mean, how we played the only relegated team we played well against was Southampton, but I mean,
Doesn't everyone?
Yes, exactly.
It's our last league win, actually.
Yeah.
Just mentioning Southampton, Julian, a little bit of light relief.
Oh, yes.
Southampton supporters were apparently singing to the Arsenal supporters.
Oh, yes.
Tottenham Hotspur, they won more than you.
Oh, brilliant.
So,
Yeah, but the Arsenal fans are clinging on to their women's team winning the Champions League.
Isn't
That's
that
right, yeah.
patronising? Isn't that so patronising to the
None of them
women?
have ever watched the women's
There was
team, I'm sure.
there was one guy on Twitter who said the women's winning the Women's Champions League, that's bigger than Tottenham winning the Europa League.
Yeah.
And then someone obviously found a tweet that this same guy had done earlier in the season saying, "Oh, women's football means nothing about nothing. That's rubbish, sort of thing." So yeah, and the guy goes,
Kevin, let me bring you back in. You've heard the discussion, Paul, Julie. Heart ruling head. Ange has it. Yes, he does. No, he doesn't. It's pantomime season shortly, I guess, for managerial merry-go-rounds.
I still don't know who would bring in. I mean, I'm at a loss as to who would bring in, because every other name that's been mentioned recently.
Well, of course,
as
Aston
someone
Villa.
said,
Aston Villa have now lost Champions League. Perhaps Emery would like to join us.
"Oh no,
good evening." I don't know. He'd probably go down even worse than Terry Neal did, wouldn't he, or George Graham in those seasons. But I think. But I would like to see Ange succeed. Oh my God, would I like to see him succeed?
Yeah.
And obviously he has with the UEFA.
Yeah, of course.
But I can't. Yeah, as people are saying, I can't see him doing it in the Premier League. But then I don't know who we would rope in now to do it. Although we have got Champions League, that might encourage someone to come across. But then again, if our summer window is horrendous, or we don't get anyone, or we get no one that's going to improve us, then why would anyone want to come? They're going to want, if they're going to come here, they're going to want promises from Levy, aren't they? And he ain't going to give anyone promises. It's a conundrum all wrapped up in another conundrum.
The other thing is, and I'm not the one that I think Adrian, you might have said, or maybe you, Ian. What does that show the player? What does that tell the players if Levy sacks Postecoglou now? They will run through brick walls for Ange Postecoglou. We can see that. We can see that he's got the dressing room. I think he's a great motivational.
I don't think Maddison is a fan of his.
I don't know. I mean, they're being embraced and all that sort of thing. But what does that say to the players? He's got them through all this. They're obviously a family. He lets them do what they want to do. He keeps the players. I don't know if you noticed, the players got on a separate coach from the hotel, and that's his style. He says, no, that's their area. That's for them. That's their area. So they're obviously a family. They always look up to him, that sort of thing. So what does that say to the players? Oh, God, we're going to get another manager now. And we're back to square one again. Look, my opinion is you've got to stick with him and see with the right investment, and this is the big question, see how we go with knowing if he can get through without any injuries, see how we go. Like the first 10 games when he first started and see where we are.
I was in Bilbao, as you know, as was Kev. I had a pretty amazing seat halfway inside the top half, if I can call it that, 16 rows back. You get a phenomenal perspective of the pitch and the players. And I cannot remember in watching Tottenham for the best part now of 60 years of seeing a Spurs side more together, more determined, more pulling for each other than I saw from that team in Bilbao. I mean, television wouldn't reflect it. Paul, I don't know, you were quite high up, so I don't know how well you'd have seen it, but they were sort of fist pumping each other, clapping each other, shouting at each other in a good way, cajoling each other. They probably didn't show it on the telly. They did a huddle before they went into the dressing room at half time. They did another huddle when they came out after half time. Paul, you want to come in?
Well, they did the huddle down in the Man United end of the pitch, so that was just more kind of Romero shithousery, I think.
Well, and we're not used to. Luke, you got in.
Just about.
My first debutant of the night. Luke, you're fine if you can hear.
Yeah, I can hear you, certainly.
Yeah, you don't. You're a good-looking guy. You don't need to put your hand in front of the screen. Good. Just talking about Wednesday night. We're talking about the togetherness. So I'll bring you in a second.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Paul, what were you've heard what I said about that togetherness and what have you? You must have picked. You obviously were nodding, so you must have picked it up in row 160.
I wasn't that high up. Just because I got you better seats than I had doesn't mean, you know. I was in block 330 and I was row 16, I think. So it wasn't that bad. But anyway, yeah, I mean, I haven't seen that togetherness since Pochettino went. So while he was there, before he went, obviously, before the Champions League final. But it was very similar. And they're a very united team. And I just feel that knowing Daniel Levy the way he is, he would make the wrong decision. And that is not keeping Postecoglou on until the end of next year's World Cup, when Pochettino can come back.
No, never go back. You can't reheat a souffle.
No going back.
I mean,
no going back.
I can't cook. I can't cook, so it's fine.
I'm reading on one of the WhatsApp groups, and I'm not going to name names, but there are people that have posted pictures of Ange Postecoglou as a clown. You know, people saying, "Oh, we should get a proper manager." This is disgraceful behaviour. I mean,
correct.
It's just, you know, you can by all means criticise the guy and say, "I don't think he's very good tactically" or whatever. But he's been in football for 26 years. He's won stuff all around the world. In fact, every league, he's gone up a league, stepped up a bit, and he's won something. You know, he's won a European trophy. So he can't be that naive, you know. He must know a little bit about football. You know?
Right, if we'd lost on Wednesday night, this whole conversation would be valid, but it's not, because we won what he said he was going to win. And we should just let it go and let it lie and move on.
That's the point. It's like, no, let's celebrate the moment. I don't care about next season until around about August or when the transfer window. You know, I don't care where we finished. Well, there's things to improve. Of course there is. I'm not being stupid. Yes, we need better play, you know, some stronger players in there. Yes, we need things, but sorry, Ian.
I'm with Julie. I'm with Julie on the no sentimentality in football, right? Because I've seen it on podcasts recently. Where people saying, "Oh, give him 6 months, give him 3 months," and all that. No. You either.
So, Adrian, I've muted you because I want to try and get Luke in. Yeah,
that's very kind of you.
Yeah, it's all right. Everybody, it's one of these things with these shows that everybody talks at once. Luke, you probably picked up some of what we're discussing, and one of I think the important things now is there is a split amongst supporters. There has been for a while about Ange, and I suspect if we'd have lost on Wednesday, it'd have been a much more of a one-way discussion. But the reality is we've won a cup. We won the first thing we've won in 17 years, and it's a big cup, and it's got us entry to the Champions League.
It's a beautiful cup.
You know, do we say, Luke, that he deserves another chance, or as some have said, and you know, justifiably, that the league form is such that he hasn't demonstrated an ability to succeed in the top league in the world over 38 games?
My view is this. I think that number one, if you look at him in terms of how he's led that group and got them united as a team, he's produced a group of players who I feel now are very united and want to work hard for each other and for him. That's the first thing I think I'd like to say.
Correct.
The second thing I'd like to say is, when you're a leader, you set a particular goal, and other things get discarded. And I think his goal was to win us a cup, and he's won us a cup. It must hurt him to put out a weaker side than he'd like to, because he's protecting players, but he's sacrificed other issues and focused almost laser-like on what he needs to do to achieve that goal. And all the players have bought into that, and so many of the other players have had to play a part in getting us to where we are. whether it's actually playing in some of the European games or whether it's been playing in the Premier League to protect some of the other players that are more vulnerable. And I think the third thing I'd like to say is, well, there's two more things, but if you look at how we've all felt since Wednesday, how we've never felt like this in so many, many years, to produce that has been absolutely fantastic. At the beginning of the season, I remember going to the games and we were winning 3s and 4s and easily could have been winning 6s and 7s. And we were labelled the most attractive team in the Premier League. Injuries, you've seen the difference when Romero and Van der Ven have gone. We haven't got the depth that other teams have. If we can spend some money and get a depth of team, a depth of squad, so that we can hold it together when we haven't got some of our players, I think we could be in a very, very good position. Last year, for example, we applauded the team when we got thrashed by Chelsea because there are a number of injuries, but the kind of football we've been seeing with Ange has been absolutely, when all our team is there, it's been fantastic. So my view is, rather than chop change, just keep him and let him build on what he's doing. I think he's sacrificed the Premier League in order to achieve what he's had to do. And I think he's been brave to do that. And as somebody else pointed out, he's won everywhere he's gone. And how brave it was for him to say, I always win something in my second season. That's my view.
Luke, let me ask you this. Let's say there's a number I think would say, okay, let's start next season with him, despite our reservations, because he's got some, I think someone says earlier, I think it might have been Nita in the chat, he's got some credit in the bank. Let's say we get to the end of October, we've played, I don't know what that'll be, 10 games, and we've lost 5, drawn 2, won 3. Yeah.
And what I'd say to that is, I can remember another manager not too far away in North London who I was laughing at because their team, who play in red, were bottom of the division for a number of weeks. And now look where they are now.
Trophyless.
Exactly, yeah.
But I thought
Too
they were
right.
champions of Europe.
Yeah.
You're the best team in Europe. Everyone knows that.
We are apparently having to play their ladies' team, despite the Supreme Court ruling in the big Scottish case. We now play their women's team in the European Super Cup in the Championship of Europe. So it must be it's the only logical conclusion.
Yeah.
Let's bring you back. We'll probably have to move the discussion on a little bit. Anything more you want to add? I want to bring Adrian.
No, I think I said my piece. Yeah, I said my piece. Sorry.
I did mute Adrian because I did desperately wanted you to get you in, Luke, and get you.
Thank you.
That's fine. That's not an issue.
I like Luke. He can come again.
Yeah, Luke, I messaged you in a private chat. If you leave your number, we can add you to the WhatsApp group.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Ian's got my details.
We use that to get guests. We use it as a sort of pool. Yeah, I mean, my view on Ange is that I agree with Julie. Don't be sentimental in football. What Levy's now got to do is got to make a decision. And I don't want this, give him 10 games, 3 months, whatever. I mean, that's fudging it. And then it fails. Then you've got to reset halfway through the season. If he's going to fail anyway, either give him the whole season or sack him in the next week, because the transfer window opens on the 1st of June to the 1st of... Get rid of him now if he's going to go. I think he deserves a stay of execution, personally. But because... It's funny what the win did. Before I thought, no, we've reached a tipping point. Whether he wins or not, he's got to go, right? But the win, I mean, I think we're all transformed by the win.
Absolutely.
Something's happened to us all, suddenly like all that fog and darkness is on our pores. Everyone's looking 10 years younger, like all the stress has come out of the system. And you're thinking to yourself, and some of it can be, obviously, as emo as well. I mean, look, I'm not fussed. I've always said, I've always supported every manager and every player at this club while they're at the club. When they've gone, I say, thank you for your contribution. Away you go. That doesn't mean to say I've liked all the managers, all the players at the club. I haven't. There's some I want it out now. I want Richarlison out. I want Basuma out, right? But yeah, so just all we want is a bit of transparency from the club. And as Ange said, I mean, people are saying to me on a podcast yesterday, going, I mean, well, the club should come out and say whether he's staying. No, all the club have got to come out and say is he's sacked. Because like in any job, if you go to work Monday morning, you've come back from holiday, whether your boss has had a change of heart while you've been away or not, it's down to them. They don't come out and say, oh, you're doing a good job, Adrian. I know you've been on holiday, but you're still staying. Right? It doesn't work that way. So what's happening is they've got to either sack him this week. If you're going to do it this week. And there are other complex situations I'd like your take on as well. I mean, Paratici's ban ends in end of June. If he is coming as a director of football, technical director, or whatever name they want to give him, right? Yeah. As he's in charge of all the football inside of the club, has Levy and Paratici had a conversation and Paratici said, look, I don't want him. Have they put off the conversation until after the Europa League win, saying, well, if he wins, shall we or shan't we keep him or not? I mean, what do you guys think of that?
Do you want to go around and make myself
I don't
a cup
think
of
Paratici ever really went away. I think he's
he was pulling strings.
Yeah,
you're right. I think we have a new CEO who was at Arsenal. He could bring in Sol Campbell as the next manager, you know, and then there'll be Tottenham riots.
Yeah, Vinay Venkatesham. Yeah, I mean, I mean, well,
it's easy for you to say.
Yeah, it is. I've been practicing. Right.
Okay.
I think Paratici comes in. I'd imagine that Lang is going to be out because he doesn't seem to have done a lot.
Well, just on another caveat to that, Brad. Julie's usually well informed with it. I don't know if you are so well informed now at the club as you have been in the past, but there was a rumor going around that if Paratici comes back, he'll deal with getting in older players, oven ready players, whereas Lang would be in charge of getting younger players in. So I don't know if that's total true, whether it's BS or not. I
mean, I've not heard anything about that. I think that's just speculation myself.
And Scott Munn can make the tea.
Yeah, I've got to make.
Scott Munn is off, isn't he?
Yeah, he's going.
He's on his bike.
Will we notice the difference? I'm not sure.
Has he done anything? Have we ever seen him? Has he ever given an interview?
No. He's not very charismatic, put it that way. He's got that certain nothing.
We haven't had a chance to see if he's charismatic. You know,
there's no beginning to his talents.
What if the rumours are true that actually there's some deal coming with there is some possibly Middle Eastern money. There's going to be somebody buying a chunk of the club, and they're not going to do anything about Ange till the new people have made their entrance. You've not heard that rumor?
We need, I think because we need cash. I mean, that's our problem. We've got a lot of income, a lot of revenue. In fact, I received a letter from the club yesterday, you know, the shareholders letter with, you know, with the to June 2024. So it's, you know, it's taken them almost a year to come out with these figures. But the problem is having cash in the bank. So if we buy a player, I mean, I know they play by installments, but if you have a situation where, like Eze, for instance, who I'd love at the club, if it's like, you know, you've got to pay 50 million up front, we haven't got the cash to do that. So I think they need some investors to come in and say, right, here, you know, we're going to invest in the club, but we're going to do it. Here's your cash sort of thing.
We have it now, Brad. You have it now.
Yeah, they did a few years ago, didn't they? When they did something fancy with the shares that put a cash in there for 100 million or whatever it was.
We didn't have it before Wednesday night, but we have it now because even Borsov said on the radio, no, the Champions League 8 games. And I think we've got to concentrate on the domestic cups next year, as Julie alluded to, because we're not winning the Premier League, we're not winning the ECL, unless we somehow shit a miracle in the transfer window. You know what I mean? It's not happening, right? But Borsov was saying like 90 million. million minimum for the Champions League, 40 million for this Europa Cup success, 130 mil. Now, did we have any money in the bank for transfers? Well, we must have had some amount, but put that to a side. Even if Romero stays, you're still going to get decent money for Basuma and Richarlison. Why? Not because we value them highly as Spurs fans, but because of the market. There's no number 9s out there. So Richarlison could go back to Everton because they're losing Calvert-Lewin, who won't sign a new contract, right? Plus Brighton could do with a number 9. Now they're aging ex-Man United and Arsenal player forward go in. So he has a value. He has a market value on demand. And the same with Basuma. Basuma's not a bad player. I don't want the club. It's not consistent enough. So you get... I honestly believe we could spend £200 million in this transfer market, and it wouldn't be like it's not you're outlaying all the money, because you could put 25 million down on 4 players and you've still got 100 million left. So there's no, and this has got this now we've won this trophy. This is a big transfer window coming up, a big one. It's either shit or bust. You either shit or get off the pot, Levy. Right? This time in this window, it's serious. So it is. And
well, we got paid the wages as well.
Yeah, but
wages is the big thing, actually.
Yeah. The wages is in that, but then them deals are amortized over 5 years. Well, you can pay them up earlier, but you can't stretch a transfer deal over 5 years, because Chelsea, they changed the law, and Chelsea were doing it over 8 years, right? So if you're buying a player for 60 million and the selling club, we'll sell him, but we want a down payment of 20. Then you got 40 million to pay off over 5 years at 8 million a year, or whatever it is, so, or 10 million a year if you paid the 20 off. So it's not like people say we can't get them. There's no excuses. And we could do with, I'd rather get 3 players that were 60 million each than go and get 6.
Yeah. And that's what we need. That's what we need.
Brad,
good quality, experienced players.
Yeah. Brad, let me come in, because I've got a latest from Spurs Express. Ange Postecoglou's future is unlikely to be clarified before the Australian heads off on holiday tomorrow, with Daniel taking time to mull over whether to stick or twist. The expectation was that Postecoglou would be sacked at the end of this season, but now the Australian won the Europa League. A U-turn can't be ruled out, and that's from Tom Barclay. I don't know him. Julie, do you know him?
Nope, never heard of him, as my mother would say.
Yeah,
I've heard of Paddy Bartley, but he sadly passed away recently.
No, Tom Bartley's from the Standard. He's a sort of youngish reporter, 30 to 40.
He used to be in Barclay James Harvest. One for the teenagers.
There's a you're being a mockingbird. That's probably the best I can do at this time of the evening. Another one from Tom Barclay, re-quoted or retweeted by Spurs Express. Fabio Paratici will likely have a say on who replaces Ange Postecoglou if he's sacked, which doesn't suggest that anything's likely to be imminent. I just wanted to pick up the latest on that.
But
sorry, Brad.
Speaking as a former reporter, all I can say is most of this stuff is bollocks.
Correct.
You've got to write a story.
Nice terminology as well.
Blunt to the point.
Paul, you're up. Paul,
You've gone sideways.
Look at that. Dan Kilpatrick. Dan Kilpatrick hasn't returned my calls since Wednesday night, since he got called out by Ange at the press conference. So that's, what a career ender that was. Calling him a clown. I don't think he'll be welcome at the Spurs press conferences next season somehow.
Dear me.
Luke, let me bring you in, and then I'm going to try and keep people moving.
Sure.
Kevin, Luke, rumours about who might leave the club. We're going to talk about people who might come in, and also have a look at some of the kids that we've got coming through and where they might fit in or not. The rumours that Romero's going to Madrid, at least one of the 2 Madrid clubs, won't go away. Richarlison, again, the view that he's not good enough and there's Saudi money on the table for him. Davis has come to the end of his contract, whether they'll give him another year. I'm a big Davis fan, but my view is he's probably just the wrong side now of being a first team player, particularly with Vuskovic, Dorrington, and Phillips potentially being contenders. But your own view about who in the squad should be dispensed with?
I think before we do that, I think they've got to review the season and ask themselves, well, two things really. I think they've got to review the season and look at why it is they had so many injuries that they did. Is it purely bad luck or is there something else? I think they need to look at that. Secondly, I think we know that there are other teams out there who seem to have a really effective way of picking up players that will do a job for them and have made them effective as teams. And I'd like to know, I wonder whether Spurs, I'm sure they must have people who know the game, but they must be asking themselves, why is it that their recruitment processes are so very good, and learn something from them? And I think they need to do that before they start thinking, alongside looking at the players that they've got who have really served us well. But I don't think you throw out players without doing your review and being very clear about who it is you need, who it is you need to target. I think you need to do that first. For example, Richarlison. I'm a big fan of Richarlison. I can remember Ancelotti saying when he was at Everton that Richarlison, you'd be really surprised at what that young man will be able to do. We haven't seen the best of him. He's been plagued by injuries much of the season. If you look at the game on Wednesday, I've never seen a forward get back and help out. That's not his role, but he was so aggressive, getting back, but also doing some good work up front as well. And that was when he could actually play some football. So those that are close to the players will know their strengths and weaknesses and whether they still have a role to play for next season. That's my view. I haven't committed there, but
no, you have to refresh. Look, all the greatest squads we've seen, the Liverpools, the 70s, and all that. What they did every season, they refreshed. The way we go, and if we get emotionally attached to these players, we'll never get rid of anyone. This is the whole point. And to me, I know you like Richarlison, right? Hasn't done enough for me. Not been consistent enough, injury prone. I don't like it when fans say, "Oh, he's shit because he's injury prone." Hang about, that's the wrong take, right?
No.
You can still be a good player, but just unfortunately be injury prone, right? So you've got that angle as well. Personally, if I'm bringing two in quality, I'm getting rid of Basuma and Richarlison. I mean, we obviously know that the fee for Højbjerg for Marseille is due now because the Marseille, the PSR issue they had, and Gil will go. That's 4. We know Werner and Forster again. That's 6 out of the squad. Are we getting 6 in? I'd love to think we're getting 6 players in, but I can see us getting, now in the Champions League, I can see us getting 4 in. And if we were going to get more than 3 in, I would think the others are going to be loans to buy or loans to be an obligation to buy. But that's my take, and I could be totally wrong, right?
I think I'm not so sure about Romero.
Here? Oh, right. Have you seen that?
That's it. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. A bit less than them might have helped a bit more.
Yeah. Catherine Tate's now.
You're talking women here, so a bit less than that. No ageism in here, please, Ezzy, mate. No ageism.
on another topic, I'm going to bow out now because
the piano's on.
It's nice to talk to you all and speak soon. And thank you very much for putting up with me.
Nice meeting you, Julie.
Nice to see you, Julie.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Bye
Julie.
then. Speak soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, now we can talk all about it, can't we?
I haven't seen Julie for 3 years since the incident.
I'm not sure we want to talk about that.
We're an hour in, guys. It's a good time to promote the show, right? So I don't want to tread on.
Yeah. No, that's okay, because I did say might be people coming on and off. And 6 is it gets unwieldy if you have. I've seen shows with 10 people on, and it's like, well, no one can get words in. Look, I want to bring you all in. Who shall I start with? Paul, I'll start with you.
Good, so I'm going soon. Start with me.
Well, I will start with you if you're going soon. That's fine. Look, these are I'll call them the kids. These are the lads in reserve. They are
Yeah, I saw them at half time.
the ones that are out on loan and what have you. Two of them will probably go on holiday now that they've lost with Orient, or Leighton Orient as they call themselves. But there's a lot of potential there. And I mean, I'll put the last four last. I left Valith off the list, but Lancashire, Scarlett, Ajayi and Moore all scored in the Europa League. Three of them.
Yeah, but Lancashire will stay at West Brom and be joined by Ryan Mason as manager. So that'll be good. Ben Davis might go with as player manager or assistant manager, whichever.
Oh, I tweeted that today, but there you go. Okay.
There you are. I knew I'd read it somewhere.
Wow.
I knew someone broken that news. We've got Vejkovic coming in, is that right?
Vuskovic.
Vuskovic. We've got Ashley Phillips still out on loan, wherever he is.
Stoke. He was at Stoke, but they'll be
Right.
back at the club now if the season's finished.
Okay. And then, people like... See, I was annoyed that Mikey Moore didn't get on the pitch today. So it may be better if he goes off on loan next season.
No.
Well, he's not getting any game time.
I know, but he can't go on loan until he's 18. So he isn't 18 till next August. And he has been getting appearances more than game time. I couldn't tell you the minutes, but believe it or not, he's made 19 appearances this season. But that might not amount to a lot of minutes, right? Probably doesn't. He might have come to like 5. Yeah,
One goal.
I'll go there, Paul. I'll go there.
Okay. And then who else have we got? Ajayi. And all.
Well, Ajayi, Scarlett. I mean, Scarlett was another one. He was in the squad. He was there on Wednesday night. Lancashire's been on loan at West Brom, hasn't he?
Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird. Scarlett's been with us forever, but he's still only 22. It's just weird.
He's 20, Paul.
He's still only 20. It seems like he's been playing with us for 10 years.
Yeah, I watched him as a 17-year-old, outstanding.
Because we're talking about, and rightly talking about, oven-ready players playing with experience. The dichotomy, I guess, Levy has is he doesn't want players that breaks or that blocks the path of some of these young, talented players into the first team. So, I mean, who do I bring on that? Brad, let's bring you in.
Well, we're all talking about you can't be sentimental. So, talking about we don't want to bring a quality player in because it might stop one of our kids getting through. Well, sorry, that's football. That's life. Looking at those players there, I think Whiteman he's got to be off somewhere. I think we've got Vicario, Kinski, and Austin. I think that's our three keepers, and I think that's not bad. Keeley, I think Keeley is another one that will probably go on loan. It's a shame actually that Orient didn't get promoted because they could have stayed with Orient in the Championship. So you'd imagine that Keeley and Donnelly would go to a Championship side on loan.
I thought Keeley was at fault for the goal. For anyone,
I haven't seen it to be honest. Phillips, I don't think he set the world alight at Stoke. Dorrington, was won a cup, hasn't he, with Aberdeen? Abbott's had a storming season at Notts County.
Excellent.
Yeah, Viskovic has done brilliantly. I think Devine's been playing with Viskovic, has he?
Yeah, at Westerlo in Belgium.
Yeah. I haven't seen enough of Alissi or Ajayi. Lancashire, yeah, maybe.
What about the kid at QPR?
We forgot about him. Yeah, he's done some good things, and he's only 17. We see these players, and we think, put him in. He's another Wayne Rooney, but no, people like Wayne Rooney.
Yeah. There are 3 other players.
Yeah, they're rarities.
On this list, there are 3 other players you can keep your eye on. Right, one's Tyrus Hall. He's Gascoigne ball carrying midfielder, very skillful.
Tyrese,
Tyrese Hall, he's good. But I've seen him when he's been crap as well. So this is what you get with kids, right?
In the 4-0 defeat in the final last season, he was terrible.
Yeah. And the two players younger than him that you want to keep an eye on. One is Williams Barnett.
Yeah, Luca.
He looks absolutely super. But that's at that level. You don't know if they're going to kick on. They could fall off. And the same team along him. Remember the 2 T's, Tyne and Thompson. right? Left winger goes past people for fun, right?
Whoa.
But it's just because I watch these kids and I'm linked to a youth
But
channel.
they go past people for fun at that level.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the thing. Mikey Moore, I think, he's got the potential to be a really talented player, but he's not a Messi. He's not a Wayne Rooney. He's not the Yamil or the guy at Barcelona. He's not.
Gentlemen, I've got to say good night, but it's been a real pleasure. Ian,
Leave
I'll
your
be in
phone
touch,
number in
mate.
a private
I'll be in
chat,
touch.
please,
Nice meeting you,
Luke.
Luke.
Yeah.
Nice meeting you.
Yeah, we'll
Thank
meet
you,
up
Simon.
next season, Luke.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Lovely
have a
hearing
good
your
week.
experience as
Week.
well. Have a good night.
Carry
Take
on.
care.
Cheers. Thank
Adrian,
you.
I don't want to have to correct you, but Scarlett is 21.
All right, okay, I'm a year out, and you was a year out. You said 22, so we
I know.
split a difference there, yeah.
We'll split
So
it,
now
yeah.
you only owe me a tenner instead of a score.
Oh, that's all right. I've won plenty of money this week.
When you
All the people that didn't believe me when I said we'd get to Bilbao from last September, who I've had, wages with.
I won £55 on that. I mean, when everybody gave up the ghost against Eintracht, I thought this is the time to have the bet. Eintracht away.
Well, I did make the prediction
155.
before the Liverpool second leg League Cup that we'd lose to Liverpool. We'd get knocked out by Aston Villa. But I thought we had a really, really good chance in Europa League because, one, we could play our first team in it because we were relatively safe in the league. I didn't know that we were going to lose so many games, but we were safe in the league. And two, because there were no Man Cities, Arsenals or Chelseas or Liverpool that we could face normally knock us out.
Good calls, good calls.
Yeah.
And why are you saying that? We've got 184 of you viewing the channel, right? Now, we're a relatively new channel. We're a year old in June, which is excellent. We do shows here. Ian does this excellent show on a Sunday, every Sunday at 9 o'clock. In the closed season, bear with us because we may or may not do shows. If there's anything to talk about, we do a show. We don't want to come on and just waffle. We pride ourselves in being mature and sensible and fact-based in the Spurs Diehards group. So we do have a Facebook group, which has got 14,500 members in it. We're about 3,500 are active, which I think is still good. I'm on XCOM with 3,200 followers on there. We have a Facebook page of nearly 300. The reason we've got the page is because the videos go out live on page and the videos go out live on XCOM as well.
I thought you said you were an ex-con.
And
I didn't know who I was dealing with.
We can't see it, but those of you 187 watching us now, in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, you'll see the YouTube logo. To subscribe to our channel, all you've got to do is click on that logo, take you straight to the YouTube channel, and it makes subscribing easier. And it helps the algorithm as well. If you like the content, give them a thumbs up, leave a content as well. And with that, I can say thanks for all your comments in the chat. Thank the 180 of you that are viewing us. Big up to all those that bother to watch us on playback. And back to you, Ian.
Yeah, no, thank you. The young Irish kid we got from St Patrick's, I've actually forgotten his name.
Amelia Mason. We got George Feeney, we got Amelia Mason.
His
name is Amelia Mason.
Okay. That's not the boy from St Pat's.
This is.
Yeah, I think it is.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, Amelia Mason, yeah.
Amelia Mason.
No relation.
Sounds far too Presbyterian to be a boy from St Patrick's. But there you go.
I think he had a good game the other day. Someone was saying
He's got good feet, quick feet, tricky.
I don't think we can do anything with him though. He's only 17. Is that right? Is it? Is the same
right. The issue with
we've
young
got a lot of
players
17-year-olds, haven't we?
The issue with young players in when you can get them from other clubs or not, which we do, so we could lose some of our youngsters. At 16 years of age, you can give them a 2-year scholarship under law, but you can only give them a 1-year professional contract when they're 18. So Mikey Moore needs to have his contract up because we did that with him in August, right? Now you need to go back and up his contract because it's to do with not being exploitation, basically. But then we'll go and nick someone whose contract is running down.
What I was trying to say about just a few minutes about, Mikey Moore's a decent player, but he's no Wayne Rooney, is that how many of our own players have actually turned out to be superstars? I can think of
one.
Harry Kane, Ledley King, and Glenn Hoddle.
2, 3. Okay.
I can't think of any more. Can't think of any more. So, sorry.
Steve Perriman.
Sol Campbell,
Oh, yeah, okay, Steve Perriman. Yeah. I should remember that because I saw his first ever game.
Chris,
Sol Campbell.
Chris Houghton.
No, I don't know him.
Sol Campbell, yeah.
I can't remember
Chris
him.
Houghton.
I said, yeah, Chris. There's been a few.
Yeah, but all right, okay. I'm talking about
In the modern game.
This century, one.
What have the Romans done for us? You realise? I knew you'd like that.
The aqueduct. But
Right.
Yes.
Right. So
go on, Ian.
No. Go on. I mean, it's.
We were talking about the kids, weren't we?
Shows I thought we might end up with the big news of Ange tonight, and we'd run, but there's not. We got to the end of the season, and we are having an end of season party.
They're not going to announce anything before the season ticket renewal closes. I'm telling you that now.
It's true. Yeah, I'm going to get a beer.
So don't sit up
5:01 tomorrow then.
Don't wait up late. It's not going to happen.
Right, let's talk. I haven't got any banners for this, but let's talk then about where we think realistic David Clark. I'm not putting that on stage. Okay, I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? I saw his game. I saw him before he went home sick.
Yeah, Keflavik. We won 9-0 at home.
No, I don't remember. Jem would have been good on this because I know Jem watched him a few times playing for the reserves and just said he was at that point he was a class ahead of anything because he was in the FA Youth Cup team that beat Coventry in 72. It was circa 1972, and it was like he was a class above everything in that team. So anyway,
but at the time we had Mallory, Pratt, and Perriman in midfield.
And I think the view was that Phil Nicholson.
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Phil Nicholson was one of those. No, I've got experienced players there. I'm not putting kids in. Whereas Souness thought I'm good enough to play. You should be playing me. Souness was probably right. Let's talk about realistic signing targets. I mean, you're talking about 200 million. Paul, are you trying to go?
Yeah, I just want to say, can we not re-sign Tell? And can we wish Timo Werner all the best in his retirement? And
Paul, who retired a year and a half ago.
He retired before the season started.
Correct. I know it's been a long time. He's been on gardening leave. So yeah, and to all the idiots whose podcast I was on the way to Bilbao, who told me they wanted Ange sacked at the final whistle, win or lose.
Oh Jesus!
Go and play with the traffic or something. Right. Anyway, I've got to go because the piano final and match of the day are waiting for me. So
Thanks.
love you all. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Right. So let's talk about. Jess is on as well. I love it, eh? I'm going to have to do something about this. There's too many people saying about Adrian and the panel, and Sunday's my show. Love you.
Yeah, they hate me.
Love you too, though, Jess. It's okay. Let's talk about realistic signings for this coming summer. Realistic. I mean, let's assume whether Ange stays or goes. Paratici will be pulling the strings. He's clearly going to be the transfer guru. The talk is that all the strong rumours are about Gui from Palace is close to a done deal. That's where the biggest rumours I've heard are. And that would suggest, as the other strong rumours are, that Senor Romero is off to Madrid. He's done at Tottenham. He's done what he wants to do at Tottenham. Although Postecoglou in his press conferences today was saying, I desperately want him to stay. Or he needs to stay. The club needs to keep him at this club. So,
he obviously loves Ange, and he's got Champions League football next season. So,
yeah,
you know, unless I mean, maybe he wants to go to Atletico. Maybe they got an Argentinian coach. That's what I heard today. But
they do, don't they?
Yeah, I'm not saying I don't think he's 100% gone, but yeah, if we're looking at Goya, then obviously that's there as a replacement for Romero. I'd rather Eze, to be honest. I think if we're going to pay 60 million for Tell, well, to pay an extra 10, 20 million for Eze, I think is a much bigger, better thing. You know, so
I don't think we're paying the money that's been reported. See, the problem is with all speculation in transfers. When it comes to fees, they always hype them up, don't they? You know, to the astronomical amount sometimes. Eze, I think we can get him in. If Romero goes, but he's turned around and said, I love this football club because he's got a good relationship with Ange, I would keep Romero over Gueye, but I would take Gueye if Romero went. So that would be 2. I actually, the cynic in me says we're going to get Angel Gomez and Johnny Cardoso because they're such easy deals to do. And you could get one of those both of them over the line quite quickly. Right.
Jonathan David?
Jonathan David, yeah. I mean, today I've read, I think this was one of these quotes and prices that are lower than I expected because Vlahovic in the last year of his contract, and I keep banging on about him, but they're talking about 20 mil. I mean, like, if he's at 30 mil and you're comparing like 62 mil for Kuna or 30 to 40 mil for Gillette, this is a no-brainer. You can't get Vlahovic. Girocares will cost you 60 odd mil. Sesko would cost you 60 odd mil. We've actually been linked today. Wouldn't mind this player, Xavi Simons from Leipzig, but they're talking 80 million euros. But for 60 mil, Leipzig have always been a selling club. They're sort of geared for that, you know. So we'd take him. I like Vanderson at Monaco, the right back. I think he's a tank. I think he's the opposite version of you, Doggy. But the question is what you're doing with Spence. Do you see him on the left as backup for you, Doggy, or as joint competition, not backup? We've got to stop using that word, right? Or on the right end, and then you would have someone like Vanderson as a competition for Porro. I wouldn't have a problem with any of that, actually.
Yeah, because if you get a decent left backup, you don't need Spence as left back, do you? You can have him as the right.
You've always got Gray if you need to do both.
Yeah.
I thought Gray played really well today. I thought he was
first half.
He did
I love his vision because even under tight pressure, I love his vision, and he's got the football IQ. That's why he's good as a kid. They've always got the football IQ when they're good at that, because his anticipation as well is very good. It's very good. You know,
I think all his mates were there today as well because there are so many pictures of him with these other young lads with the cup and that.
He gave away a couple of
he worked well today because he was. I mean, Bentancur had one of his better games as well in the first half, and you know, and Sarr was all over the flipping place, wasn't he, as usual? Yeah. So. And so that three worked quite well in the first half. It's a shame Sarr had to go off at half time, really.
Yeah, but there we go. Was that injury?
But in terms of who we're going to bring in, I know F all really. Eze, yeah, I love Eze, but apart from that, I haven't got a clue, and I suspect we'll be signing people I've never heard of.
Yeah,
so,
you two are both at the game. I mean, this is the thing. I was seeing signs of cohesion in the midfield before we lost the 300 players, because you had 3 out of 4 you could have played. Madison, Kulu, Bergvall, Bentancur, right? 3 out of those 4. Suddenly you're seeing cohesion, a bit of fluidity. We haven't seen it with the front at all season, right? And today in that second half, there was just no shape. We were all over the place. There was so much space everywhere. I'm thinking, this is mad.
Any sort of midfield leaders that can take the game by the scruff of the neck when we're under pressure.
Yeah. When we started the first half, Brad, why don't we keep that same discipline? Because you had, as I think both of you rightly alluded to, and you obviously watched the game, you had Bentancur on the left. And I've been screaming about this midfield pivot of 2 with Gray on the right to help cover for Porro. It was a bit disciplined again today. He hasn't been gallivanting. Maybe he thinks that's the last game of the season. Who gives a shit? Like we were thinking, basically. But in them games, even in the league, where we stanked the place out of West Ham, at Brentford where we won 2-0, and then the 3 European games, when we've had that block of 4, 2 good centre-backs with a pivot. I don't like number 6s and all that. I don't like all that crap. But 2 defensive midfielders, holding midfielders, as we used to say back in the days, you lot would know. It worked well, but there was no discipline there. The second half, none.
You know, today, well, that's what a point I was going to make.
Go on.
Is in the first half, I'm like, we're playing Glasner ball here. We've got 4 across the back. We've got 3 in midfield. We've got 3 up front. That's the way Ange plays. But there were very, very narrow lines. You should have seen this, Kev, between the midfield, between the defence and midfield and the.
It's anything like that in the second half because they never got up our end of the bloody pitch.
Well,
I think I got up there twice. You know, so it was diabolical the second half, and Odegaard had no clue what he was doing. Playing in midfield.
Yeah, got tried to double pin, didn't he? Yeah.
Absolutely waste of space there.
I think both him and Tell were muscled off the ball too much. They're very lightweight.
And another thing, right? Another thing I've been picking up because I've been watching this, right? Vicario, right? Now, ball comes back to him.
No.
People are screaming, pick it up, right? So he does at the last moment, lures the players on to wind them up or whatever, and he picks the ball up, right? Now we see him at Brentford when he played his first game for Spurs, and he threw the ball from the penalty area to the halfway line. So he's got a throw on him, right? He has got a throw on him. As soon as you put that ball back down on the deck and you roll it with your foot, most teams they play 2 forwards that threaten your penalty area, and they're going to try and close the goalkeeper open. He makes a mistake. Now he's got to kick it, but he's got a throw on him. If he keeps the ball in his hands, those strikers don't come forward and press him, and he doesn't end up making a silly pass left or right where we end up flapping about with it at the back 4, right? Sometimes we end up losing the ball, whatever. If you pick the ball up, throw it. You've got the other team stretched now. That if they're strikers, the 2 main ones that want to close in on you, they're not going to do it. They stay back. You always notice that when a goalkeeper's pick the ball up, right? But he then put it on the deck to kick it. Well, we always remember Jennings with his drop kicks. So you can either kick it, drop kick it, or you can throw it. Jennings had an excellent throw on him, didn't he, as well? He's probably the best goalkeeper anyway. Yeah. So this is another thing. I think, Rob Birch, you're the goalkeeping coach. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm nuts when I look at football for 60 odd years. You know what I mean? But these are just things I pick up on. And as Kev has alluded to, and again we saw it today, the throw-ins are absolute shit. Our throw-ins are crap, Kev. You know what I mean?
You're Martin Shivers.
But this comes down.
We do. Well, you just need someone to run up the bloody line. I mean, no, they're all inside them. There's all this space down the line. No one goes into it.
I just think that the whole of the last 3 or 4 days caught up with him in that second half. I really do.
Yeah, I think you're right, actually.
Yeah. I mean, when Richarlison got put through the ball and there were about 5 players around him, it's like, give us some help.
No one anywhere else near him.
He was going, I can't be arsed, sort of thing. You know?
Like,
it was a lovely moment. Before I forget, it was a lovely moment when Vicario was coming off after the half lap of honour. Let's be fair, it wasn't really a lap of honour. When they came and he was coming off, and I'm not sure if he was trying to find Pat Jennings. He obviously didn't know what he looked like, as we obviously do. But someone actually pointed him in the right direction, and he went up to Pat Jennings and had an embrace and a big chat with Pat Jennings. I thought that was really nice because that's one goalkeeper to another goalkeeper and that. But
I've just got 3 questions about our tactics, which I would love to ask. And the first one is throw-ins, as we've just said.
Yeah.
Do we actually practice the bloody things? Free kicks. When we get a free kick in the opposition's half, why don't we stick it in the box?
Yeah.
It always goes backwards, and And the last one is corners, defensive corners. We saw it today. All 10 players back in the bloody penalty box. So they have 10 players. Well, they had 7 players in the penalty box, 3 sitting on the all we have to do is stick Johnson or someone up on the bloody halfway line, take at least 2 of them out of it.
Exactly.
And it's so frustrating. The only time he did it was when he was trying to beat Arsenal at their game when they put 2 players on the bloody halfway line and they still managed to score a fluky goal from a corner.
I think
But,
answering your question,
Yeah.
Kev, I think throw-ins, yeah. Liverpool have a guy who studies statistics on throw-ins. And he's actually almost like a throw-in coach.
Yeah.
And he looks at all the games and where players are, and he says all the stats from throw-ins.
It's the most common dead ball situation.
Yeah,
it should be something you excel at.
Exactly. As for corners, defending corners, yeah, I agree. But I think, generally speaking, I think we've defended better at corners this season. Because remember last season,
but I still think we need someone up the pitch.
Yeah, no, I totally
agree
with you. But yeah, and what was the other one? What was the third point? I can't remember.
It was free kicks. Free kicks just inside the opposition's half or inside the opposition's half.
That's just, to me, it's a chance to attack the opposition
Yeah,
goal.
of course it is.
Really,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Why? Oh, I don't know. Yeah, no, I
You
agree.
could
with
play
all
the
three.
percentage doing it because like, do you remember when we were winning at Everton and the England goalkeeper, name escapes me at the moment, he kept coming up to the halfway at Pickford, and they kept pumping. But every free kick they got, they pumped it, and eventually got the draw. They got the draw. I mean, why aren't we doing that?
Yeah,
Ian, why aren't we doing it? You haven't said nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it's good questions, but what you're all doing is saying Ange out because the coaching team, and in fact, he didn't bring any coaching people with him. So,
I'm not saying Ange out because I said the same things about Pochettino and Conte. So as far as I'm concerned, we haven't been doing throw-ins and corners right for knows how long.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. My worry about Ange is it's all a little bit laissez-faire. It's not really academically studied. He's a motivator and he has his way of playing. But when he's up, he's up against the big boys. It's a little bit beyond him. That's my worry, and I don't want to say that because I wasn't hosting a channel when he came, but I was doing some.
He got it right at the Etihad against Guardiola. That's not that bad.
I mean, every now and again, it's completely right, isn't it? It's just
I think it would be very, very Levy-esque to leave it for a couple of weeks, even a week into the transfer season, and even if we get, say, an Eze in, and then to bring the axe down on Ange when all the euphoria has died down. We will carry. We've all got a nice warm glow inside now, and we will carry that afterglow into the new season because we can banter all our rivals now because we've won a trophy, right? But I think Levy's very cunning the way he goes about doing things. You know what I mean? So I just think that he will. I think it'll. I mean, it might happen tomorrow, and I could be totally wrong. Ange's on holiday. Enjoy your holiday, you're sacked. I mean, in that 10 mil as well. So between the two windows. Ange, and Ian would know, he's the employment law expert, right? Ian would to sack Ange. Ange's got to be back in his country. They've got to sit down with solicitors and all this and talk about this gagging clause. We owe you 10 mil, we'll give you 5, or whatever it is, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think if it was going to be done, it would have been done tonight.
Yeah.
But it's a bank holiday Monday as well, so
I think Jose's comment here, the club, no, of course the club can't gloss the league, but I can. And I will. It's just, I'm just enjoying what we've done and winning.
Yeah.
And that'll sort itself out come August, whatever.
I just want, if he's going to be sacked, be decisive, Levy, just sack him. Let's move on. We know where we are.
Yeah.
Right? If you're not, you don't say nothing. You don't have to say, "Oh, you're on holiday. Don't worry, you're still in next season," because Ange knows that he's under contract. That doesn't work that way.
We've probably covered most of what we're going to get covered tonight. The season's over. Adrian, let's talk about a couple of things before we.
I've got something as well, but go on.
Turn it in. Yeah, that's okay. I'm not gonna cut you off, Brad. First of all, I'll come back to that. Go on, Brad. You come in because
all I want to say is I was a bit disappointed with the lap of honour today because, as far as I'm concerned, the players should have gone around the pitch, showing the cup to everyone. But what happened was they started off going that way towards the north stand, and all the friends and family. And to be honest, If I could have got over the fence without anyone seeing me, I could have walked on and no one would have known who the hell I was. And I could have walked on, there were so many friends and family. And what happened was they all met in the corner and they just stood there for ages.
Ages.
And we
Yeah, and
actually
I was
they
waiting.
did that.
I was waiting.
They
I
did that
gave
in
up waiting in the end in my corner. I just
And
I went.
Yeah, they came over to the south stand, and that's fair enough. And it wasn't anything organised. A player might go over and show the cup. But we are actually in the West Lower, where I am. The guy who does one of the Spurs Play TV, a ginger-haired guy, we're shouting at him, get them to bring the cup over here. Because I spent so much time. And Jed Spencer, bless him, came over with the cup and did that sort of thing.
To add to that, right, during the bus parade, you had the first bus with the players on. Then you had the second open bus with all the player family, right? When all the family and friends were coming out through that tunnel, I thought at least they could have gone to the centre circle and stayed out the way and just waved at everyone from the centre rather than coming across and making a right mishmash of everything.
Very
I
badly.
don't want to sound ungrateful because I'm still enjoying that we won. I love the parade, blah, 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 blah. But let the players do the lap of honour, show the trophy, and then the friends and family come on,
Because the focus should have been on the players. Agreed. This is why the parade looked good. At least, unlike old Warmington House, and you guys will know, you'd only have room for 2 or 3 players to be at the window and hold the trophy up. But that platform in front of the stadium for the parade, I thought was excellent. So the focus should have been on the players that won the trophy. Not all this crowd of people on the pitch, you know what I mean? So
it was just a bit disappointing. It's a very minor point. It's a very minor thing.
I didn't bother taking pictures.
You probably got
it was the same
30,000 people agree with you, Brad, because we were all saying it around my side. And when I got out in the bar, Tony from South Dorset was there, and we both agree we're being grumpy old men because they didn't come round to show us the cup.
Yeah, absolutely.
I waited right to the end for even Son to come round. I mean, Son went round on his own at one stage.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
and even he eventually came round, and that's what I wanted to get him.
And what did you want to ask me before you let Brandon?
Yeah, well, no, I mean, I noticed we've only got one more show scheduled. So what? Just first of all, there's 216 I've got. So people who aren't in the YouTube are on not on the YouTube thing. How can they get in touch? How can they How can they?
Well, I mean, in the bottom, they will see we're live. I mean, so we won't see it, but in the bottom right-hand corner, there's a YouTube icon. If you click on that, you can subscribe to the channel, which we want to do. It helps the algorithm. Also, if you give the videos a thumbs up, leave a comment, that also helps, and I'll respond. Or the other admins will respond to your comments.
If you're watching on smart TV, which a lot of people do, there's an up arrow on your remote control. I think you go up twice and then across, and there's a little thumbs up. You click on that, but there's also go to channel. It doesn't take you out of the live stream. You click go to channel, and a little thing comes up, and there's a little box there that says subscribe or subscribed.
Thank you, just for everybody.
Yeah, so
we're at the end of the season, so we're not going to be doing Tuesday, Friday, Sunday. At least I hope we're not, because I only like to do shows when I've actually
if one coming up to we always run our shows on a Tuesday and Sunday at 9 o'clock. Friday shows at 10 o'clock. Due runs it is American, so it's a bit better for the American Canadian audience, and hopefully for those in the Southern Hemisphere, even though it's 7 in the morning, 8 which is fantastic because we know a lot of our fans get up all hours on this planet to watch us play, which is fantastic, right? You're brilliant fans. So now it's the close season. We get all the BS and the speculation with transfers. So we will cover that. I am doing a show Tuesday because we'll be approaching the transfer window and it's really going to hot up. Friday show, not sure. Next Sunday, not sure with Ian. If there's news we can bring to you, we do shows. Yeah. We're definitely going to do one show a week. We've got to keep your interest up. We don't want people to think we've dead or something or died out, right? So we've got to do a minimum of one show a week, whatever it is. I'll talk to Ian about whether he wants to do a Sunday or not. If I think Drew's busy this week for Friday anyway, so I might do Tuesday. I'll do Friday. We might just do Tuesdays and Sundays. I mean, we don't really know yet because no point doing a show if it's waffle. You know what I mean? There's no point.
If you're subscribed and you've got the alert when we go live, you'll know about it. But I think the bottom line, guys, is that we, if there is news, there is a major signing. If there's a new manager or whatever, we will be ready and willing to go at fairly short notice.
But Ian, what I want to hear now, because you haven't mentioned it, you've been a bit selfish here, right? Exactly. Your experience of going to Bilbao.
Yeah, I'm the only one that's left because Paul went. I can't remember if Julie said she was at the stadium. Julie was in Bilbao as well. Yeah, look, I've got to tell you, for the 220 nearly watching now, it was fantastic. I decided pretty early. I have a place south of Alicante, so I thought, well, if we don't get to the final, if we get beat in Bodo, we'll just go to the flat. We'll have a couple of days. So we flew into Alicante at lunchtime on Tuesday, went up to Zaragoza, and then drove to the stadium on Wednesday. I'd already picked up some tickets via Paul Kramer, who was on earlier, through him. We had fantastic seats, halfway between the halfway line and the goal at the Tottenham end, the camera side. So we were down to your right. Atmosphere, the city, the togetherness of the supporters, determination of the players. It's one of those great experiences, truly great experiences. Watching your club abroad, there's something about that. But watching us lifting a trophy, particularly the season being so hard, but the memory, the abiding memory, was that sheer and utter determination of the players. I mean, they were way more together, way hungrier, wanted it way more than United. And you can't go back and say this was a great performance. It wasn't a great performance. It was anything but a great performance. But by God, I mean, we could have conceded. It just didn't seem a way that United were going to score. It just didn't feel that they were going to score, albeit the one where Van der Ven somehow got it off the line.
That was in.
The save at the end.
That was in.
From, yeah. If you're an athlete like that, yeah, like rubber man.
Did a Garnacho have you worried when he came on?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, he's got something. In fact, there's one who's been told to find another club. And you think, first of all, the way Amorim plays, he's actually perfect for their system. So something's not quite right. There's other players that aren't perfect for their system. But Garnacho isn't one of them. Yes, he did worry me. And I think he could do a job for us, but there's obviously issues there that Amorim's told him in front of everybody.
Another one. When
Kev,
I've got to go, chaps.
All right,
good
Kev,
to see you all.
coming on.
See you later, Kev.
I'll catch up with you sometime. Yeah. Cheers.
We'll message you for shows anyway. Still, yeah. Okay.
All I can say about Bilbao is I do actually regret not going on a cheaper coach. Although what happened with me was I couldn't afford £800 or whatever it was for a charter flight. It was just way out of the question. But there was a luxury coach with like hostesses and like first class air travel that's $349. I could afford that. And on the Sunday night, I'd had a load of beers. Yeah, I'm going to do it. I thought, no, next morning, no, let's wait till you sobered up, and then I said, yeah, I'm going to do it. And by that time, it sold out. And yeah, I could have got the other less luxury coaches, and I didn't. And part of me regrets doing that. But whereas back in my youth, I could do all this sort of stuff, I'm regretting that now. I wish I'd have done that. I wish I'd have taken, paid the money and done the trip on the coach and that.
Well, you must still have that warm glow inside, which most Spurs fans will have.
Oh,
and the afterglow would carry us into the next season. It means we can bat away all that rival pundits who hate us, right? Can bat that away, right? We can bat away our rivals because we've won a trophy. I'm so pleased for the younger generation of Spurs fans because, I've experienced
it all the time, Neil. But no, I mean, I have to say,
And I'm so pleased for Sonny as well. His dedication has been, and for Ben Davies, those that have been with the club 10 years or so. So pleased for more than my own selfish wantings. You know what I mean? I'm so much to be pleased about, so much renewed hope, so much to go into the new season, and the young fans haven't got got to rely on past glories. Now they've got a contemporary glory to bathe in and keep bathing in it, right? Because next season, to me, we're not winning the Premier League, like I said, we're not winning the Champions League with this squad, and somehow we shit a miracle, as I said earlier. But we should go for top 5 again, because we're guaranteed to get the coefficient, basically, and both them domestic trophies. Let's get both of them. I'm greedy. I want both of them, but if we get one, fine. Would prefer the FA Cup because it's in my heart. That is, right?
I watched the final at the pub called the Greystoke in North Ealing, which is in West London, and obviously it's mainly Chelsea around this area and Brentford and that, but the pub were mainly Spurs. And there are 2 people there. A guy called, well, you know them, Adrian, Stephen Martin.
Yeah,
I became friends with them at that pub because I got there, didn't know them, and I started chatting to them because they're Tottenham supporters, and became friends with them. Martin moved to Southgate, but he came down specially for that final, and just to celebrate with those guys on that night. And we've been through all the losses and that sort of thing. When the final whistle went, and we're all jumping about, and everyone's hugging each other, and then the moment when they. We're in front of the screen, and when Sonny's, we're all doing all that. So it's just you don't forget moments like that, even if it was a pub in North England.
And I left out an important point. I left out a very important point to me, especially when you talk about legacy and fans. How important was this win to our very young generation? And I'm talking about the 5 and 6 year olds I see at the stadium with their mums and dads. How important is this win to them? Right, and a continuing generation, a continuing legacy at this football club. It's immense.
Yeah, and I went to. I mean, we're old enough to know that Spurs used to win the cups all the time. Used to win the cups all the time, and then it suddenly there was a time when we never lost a cup final, and then suddenly it stopped and that.
Brad, we talked about. Sorry, we talked about getting we should be getting a season ticket at Wembley. Because we were there, the 81 Cup Final, 81 Cup Final replay, the 81 Charity Shield, the 82 League Cup Final, the 82 FA Cup Final, the FA2 Cup Final replay, the FA 1982
Charity Shield, the Charity Shield,
and the Charity Shield.
And I went to the bus parade on Friday. I couldn't get near the stadium. It's too. I'm claustrophobic. It was too packed for me. And what people don't realise about claustrophobia is it's not the fact that you've got a lot of people around, it's the fact that you can't get out. That's the big thing about claustrophobia. If you can't get out, that's when you panic. And I knew if I was anywhere near the stadium, I wouldn't be able to move. Like, I found a place, found a pub, and I watched the bus went by, absolutely brilliant. A great moment. The bus is going by, Pedro Porro's on right at the back. Someone threw up a can of beer at him, and he caught it. It was just brilliant. And everyone went, it's one of those moments that could have gone horribly wrong, but the person who threw the can and he caught this can of beer, it's just absolutely brilliant. And then I went back into the pub and I was chatting to a guy who was 70 years old. There was a couple of lads that came down. They'd driven all the way up from Devon. Now, this young lad looked like he should be in school, but he had loads of tattoos, so he must have been 18 or 19. And just chatting to all these various people. As you said, Adrian, I chatted to a guy who had his 2 young sons there, probably about 11, 12 years old, which is probably the age when I was when we first saw Tottenham win. It was just an absolutely magical day.
Well, tell you what.
I want to ask you. Wasn't there at the stadium watching the chats and that. It was just brilliant.
Was you on the Glory March, Ian?
The Glory March? What was the Glory March?
Well, in Bilbao, apparently the Spurs fans all gathered in the fan zone. They all marched together to the stadium. And the great thing about it was all the citizens in Bilbao were hanging out the windows. Yeah, come on, Tottenham Hotspur, because Man United have knocked their club out.
No, but we saw a couple of things I want to, because you sort of made the memories come back. I didn't see that, and they made the Glory March might have been out of the fan zone.
Yeah, it was
rather than people at the stadium.
Yeah, it was
because we came out in dribs and drabs. Because same at the stadium, the team went over to the far corner. So if you look at that right-hand goal, the one that Johnson ran to, that corner when he scored, I don't know who was there, but that's where they seemed to spend forever before they came over anywhere near us. And so by that time, you know, we were 45 minutes after final whistle, so it was getting late. We went and just tried to grab something to eat. In terms of cost, Brad, including match tickets and flights, I reckon it cost us £1,000. So that's money well spent. But the other thing is, Ian Lubin, who some of you will know from the YouTube broadcast, was sitting
I know him,
with his son just along. Johnny Hammay was just behind me. Johnny, I was at secondary school with.
He was on the TNT coverage. He's on the TNT coverage when they're looking at the fans, and I think
we need to get him on. We need to get him on, but he's never available. You need to get him on.
No, well, he's a busy man. But but the other thing is, I was standing there, and my phone went, and it was Ben Kaufman. You know, you're down here,
wow.
come say hello, and that's, you know, Ben's one of the huge Levy outers. We've had our not disagreements, but we're not on the same. He's 30 years.
I ain't got an issue with Levy outers.
He's a young boy. I met. He said, "This is my dad." His dad's name's Howard. Introduced him. His dad's probably younger than me. Or, you know, not by much, but it was lovely. Ben phoning up, I've heard you here, and coming and saying hi. And that, you know, there's a great relationship amongst those of us that are YouTubers, as well as those of you that are, you know, are in the chat.
I'll tell you something about Spurs fans, right? And this comes from Klinsmann, and he had 2 stints at this football club, and he turned around and made a quote which really struck a chord with me, because you know how fanatical I am as a fan, right? Over the years I go back, and Klinsmann just said in a single sentence, "There's something unique about this football club." Now, with that, you have to be a Spurs fan to understand what he means. It's in the ether. You can't quite put your finger on it, but it's there, and there's a unity, and there's a stoicism amongst us, because we've had endure and put up with shit, right? And it's just there. And I thought, for someone who's coming to this club, don't really know, not really ingrained in it, you know, British or English culture, I think you've hit the nail on the head with me with that one, you know.
Yeah, I just like that. I had to bring that quote up, so I don't hold on because I don't know who you are. I think you're new. Welcome to the show, and thanks for your comments.
Hoddle's bootlickers, that first leg. I mean, Chivers scored with a header, and that shot from distance, when he hit it, and he's all of a sudden the net rippled.
Yeah, it was like, whoa. I mean, I watched all the TV highlights, you know.
He was there today. He was class.
Yeah.
Swear to
we
God.
paid 125 grand for him from Southampton. Don't ask guys in the chat. Don't ask me why I remember all this shit, right?
It was, I remember 125 grand. Yeah, it was.
Yeah. I swear to God, Chivers was in West Bromwich when he hit that shot and he finished up in the net Wolverhampton. I mean, he was just so far out.
The guys alongside him, Gilsey, and I thought was brilliant. And Peters.
Aged really well, a bit like Cliff Jones. And they both still look like they could.
I love Cliff Jones. I know most fans won't remember. And he's 90 now, I think, and still going. He's still about. Cliff.
Yeah, absolutely. Brad, we've lost you, mate. You can't go yet. You've got to hear my song. Brad, you can't go without hearing my song. You know, it's a love.
Maybe he's probably got to the toilet or gone to get a drink.
Well, he might have done. But
give him a few. I'm just looking for it. Look for your banners if you've done them all.
I took my lady. She got really angry. She was really angry with me when I went to Madrid and didn't take her. So I said, right, you want to go to Bilbao? So, she went. She enjoyed it.
Good. I'm glad she enjoyed it. Mandy, glad you enjoyed it if you're watching.
Where was that? Yeah, I was in the South Bank, right in the line of the shot. Yeah, I remember that terrace.
Did you see the goal? Did he get a touch on it? Was it off? I mean, we've had some there complain later on these YouTube fucking channels. It was offside, right? Yeah, we'll do one, right? Game's over, right? We've had dodgy decisions, Sissoko in the Champions League final. I mean, did he get a touch? Was it his goal? I'm glad they give him the goal. I'm glad they give Johnson the goal. How did you see the goal? You just think, just all up in the air?
No idea what had happened until Johnson suddenly started peeing, because we were quite obscured by the number of players, and it was a really scrappy goal to win a scrappy game. But it was only when Johnson started going off, reeling off towards, and the crowd started cheering. I thought, oh, it's a goal. You know, it's
Yeah, it's the sort of same. Yeah,
it wasn't
And-
like Shiver's right foot at the
And
at the
that
South Bank
started
ball.
inside our half because Sarr won the ball.
It-
He went on one of them surging runs.
yeah.
Then I think
Yeah.
he changed the passes. I don't know if it was Bentancur or whoever it was. And then he ended up in a sort of a wing position. And it was Sarr who crossed it. I've had
Yeah.
a few drinks. Sarr crossed it.
He did.
And then like suddenly it was a goal. And even I watching at the stadium on the south stand with like about 40 to 50,000 of us there was.
Yeah.
I thought, has it gone in? And suddenly it's gone in. And naturally, first thing I'm thinking, fucking VAR's going to step in here because you know you're like with Spurs, like you just think VAR's going to step.
I'm sure for neutrals watching, and certainly some of my golf buddies and what have you said it was a poor game. I'm sure it was.
Yeah,
but the tension inside that stadium.
Yeah,
I mean, particularly as we went into stoppage time.
How did you feel when 7 minutes came up injury time?
Well, funnily enough, we were talking about that and how much, because I'm being an ex-ref, I'm sort of conscious of things like that. And the guy, I said, how much stoppage time do people think? And the guy behind me said at least 6. And I'm thinking maybe 8 or more. So when it came up 7, I was actually okay with it.
Oh, okay.
I was
Okay.
actually okay. It was never going to be 3 minutes.
No.
You know,
I thought maybe 5.
3 minutes.
When it came up to 7, I go, oh my God, 7. Where did you get 7 from? But when I actually watched it back the next day.
There's the reaction.
You couldn't fault. What did you think of the substitutions, Ian? I think Ange got it perfect. The game management was super.
I thought his substitutions were fantastic.
Yeah.
I think someone did Kevin. I couldn't quite hear him. There were people talking after the game last week.
No, I'm with you there, man. With you there.
That we should play Odebear at number 10.
Yeah.
And he came on today at number 10. And pardon my language, he was fucking useless.
Yeah.
Wasn't good.
I mean, I went on Scarfy's show on Monday and I was asked what I thought the team would be. And the team that it was the team that I picked. And Travis, I don't know what happened to Travis tonight. He was meant to have been on. Said not Spencer, fullback, left back. And I said, no way. I said, one, his form hasn't actually been that great over the last 5-6 weeks or so. But that back 5 is the back 5 that wins. That back 5 doesn't concede goals. I read, and I've not checked it, so I don't know, but the when that back 5 have played, it's played 21, not many, won 16, drawn 2, lost 3. That's title winning form.
And like Danso, believe it or not, he's homegrown. He actually had a choice between football and rugby. At that time at Milton Keynes and Reading, had one season at Southampton at COVID before he went to France. I think for this money we've got to pay from the end of the season, 21 mil, good squad player. I want to see if his passing's better. He's good going forward. He's aggressive. When he come on, he ain't taking no crap off no one. He picked up 2 of their players, one in each arm, and held them up in Stelios actually. Of one of the shows I was watching, he picked them up. I mean, the guy's an animal. He's an absolute animal.
I mean, the decision to bring on Danso was right, and particularly with he must have anticipated that Slabhead was going to spend more and more time in our box, and he did that. He did those tactics again at Frankfurt, and they worked really well.
Romero against Slaphead. I mean, I love them clashing. There's no way Romero's going to let him dominate, even if he's bigger or not. I mean, he got it in there, and even bringing Sarr on. Listen to Sarr's interview. They said, "Well, what did I say? You come on or something?" He went "Listen, I was going to come on and run my heart out for this club." And you see, with not Sarr, Gray. I meant sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I meant Gray. I mean, and Gray. We've seen him at left back, we've seen him at right back, we've seen him at centre back. If you can do that and it's not your position, and you can show more, which I've seen him do at Leeds in midfield, what he did today when he came on the first half, not so much the second half because we were total crap second half, but he's got it. He's got the vision. He's got the footballer's IQ. He's got the instinct and all that to be there. never going to be a sexy player like Glenn Hoddle, nothing like that. And Bergvall probably look a lot sexier than him. But like, nah, this kid, I like the look of him. I really like the look of him, you know. And even when he came on a little bit, he did well.
I tell you who I thought was outstanding. I mean, Romero got man of the match.
Richarlison.
No. My man of the match was Bissouma, and it was Gems as well. I thought Bissouma was absolutely outstanding.
He's been brilliant in the
I thought
knockout
the
stage, hasn't he?
Bissouma, he's not quite that. It wasn't quite the Bissouma that we knew at Brighton. It wasn't box to box, but he and Bentancur, when they play that double pivot, are really, really difficult to play against, and we don't concede.
It was a tough one when you go man of the match. Richarlison, I thought, was outstanding because when people ask me straight out of the game, they're going to me, and you're in the emotion of the game. I said, I'm giving it to Vicario for 2 of them saves he made. You know, and so you could do it for that. You could. I mean, like, listen, the whole team deserved man of the match. Let's be fair. All right, that's being a bit sentimental, but it's true though, isn't it? Because like they proved, like Perriman used to say, we knew how to get across the line. He won 6 trophies at Spurs, 2 League Cups, 2 FA Cups, 2 UEFA Cups over 14 years. And we had Spurs teams then and that 84 Cup final, right? We were missing key players in that final.
Yeah,
so, you're missing Clements.
To get across the line. Hoddle didn't play, I don't think.
Ardinis come on the substitute, didn't he?
Didn't play. Mickey Hazard played.
Didn't Ardinis come on a substitute in the second half?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
well, Clements didn't play because Parks was in goal.
No, because Tony Parks played. So you forget that.
And that is what you talked about, having what they showed, that team spirit and unity, which we'd seen away against Bodo Glimt and Frankfurt. We'd seen it away at Brentford, 2-0 win, and when we stank West Ham out with a reserve 11, basically, anyway there. So it shows that this team, and now, look, you've kicked on. Imagine you're Mikey Moore, you're Ajayi, you're Scarlett, right? Your kids, and you've got a UEFA Cup winners medal, right? Now, our rivals might denigrate the competition. Really? Go fucking do one. The same with Arsene Wenger. Go fucking do one, because the Premier League's the hardest competition. This is my opinion to you lot out there. The Premier League's is the hardest competition to win on this planet, football-wise, right? Next to that, because it's 38 games, next to that, I would say it's the Champions League. And for us with Britain, next to that, I would say it's the Europa League. How many games do you play in the Europa League? You have 8 games to start off with.
Yeah.
Well, straight away, you can win the FA Cup and the League Cup in 6 games, 6 or 7 games. And then you've got, quarterfinals, semi-finals, and the final, right? So the Europa League, and what these wankers like Durham out there.
15 games, isn't it?
And these other so-called pundits, right? When they retire, it'd be an easy step to silence for them, right? But I mean, like, these so-called pundits don't realise. Why do you think, Arsene Wenger, this is a question of, why do you think you get a Champions League place for the Europa League win? Well, simply because you want clubs to take the competition seriously, right? This is why, if not, this is why the Europa Conference is a poorer league. But if winning that meant, I can't remember if it means if you win that, you go into the
Europa League. I think you do, yeah. I think you do.
Probably would do, as the system, the ladder system works like. And I'm thinking, like, if we, do you remember when West Ham won the Conference League? All the kudos they got and all that shit, right?
Yeah, they loved it.
Do you remember it?
Yeah, fair play to them.
Look, fair play to them for winning it, right? But then, like, we win the Europa League, and you still see those who want to congratulate us through gritted teeth, because it's Tottenham, and it's still, and I'm still saying some of that's anti-Semitic, but we won't go there, right? But I mean, apart from the fact that others hate us, right? And we are a popular club to hate in London. I mean, Chelsea, West Ham, and Arsenal always done it. West Ham always had illusions of grandeur.
I'm going to stop you because I'm thinking this show should have ended half an hour ago.
Fair enough. Can do.
Who do we want in the Super Cup, though?
hang on, Brad. There's a number in the top left-hand corner that I can see. I don't know. You may not be able to see it, Brad. I don't
Well,
know.
yeah.
Adrian will. It's 232. So our
Yeah.
audience is going up and up and up. And I'm like, do I cut a show short? We're not short. We've done over 2 hours. But do I stop when we got more and more? I don't know
Well,
whether...
Brad and Ian, to you two. I'm not going. I won't be going. But you missed the coach, Brad. You said you won't go. Don't know what Ian's going. Are you going to Udinese? Are you going to the Super Cup? Because we win that, be great banter. That'll be. We know it's their version of the European.
I think it'd be a lot more difficult to get tickets. So apparently the ground only holds 26,000. So
yeah, but it's whether it holds the same amount of interest. I mean, it's to me, it's the European version of the European Charity Shield, really, right? So
yeah,
if we lose. I mean, who would you rather play, Inter Milan or PSG?
PSG. PSG. I think
it would be.
Well, who do you think we got the best chance of winning against, Brad? Still
PSG. I think. Although I think Inter are going to win Champions League.
I disagree.
But hang on, what about if PSG beat Inter and Ngaz is our manager come August? I mean, there you go. There's one for you, Milton Nabriga.
I mean, to be fair, that's a one-off game, isn't it? It's like a pre-season friendly in a way.
It's a Wednesday, August the 13th.
I want to go to the Emirates. Not that I'll probably have tickets, but champions of Europe.
You'll never sing that. Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah. And if you weren't listening earlier, apparently the Southampton supporters were taunting Arsenal today with. What was the tune again? They've won more than you. They've won more than you. Tottenham Hotspur.
Well, there was some good banter at the stadium between Spurs and Brighton fans.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
There was good fun. I mean, we're singing. They started to try when they were winning. They first started singing. I said to the guy next to me, they were quiet because the noise when we first started at first half. They only started singing on the 51st minute when they scored that goal.
Yeah, I did,
That was when they started. Nothing from them in the first half. They were just, you couldn't hear anything because the noise would drown them out. But then the stadium fell quiet. But then at the end of the game, when everybody thought, bollocks 4-1, who gives a shit?
We're going to lose it.
They were playing all the songs, and everyone was getting noisy before even they came out for the parade. And I thought that was excellent.
It was brilliant, yeah. And fair play to about 3 or 4 Brighton supporters I could see
sitting
for the lap of honour. Yeah,
they probably live in the area, Brad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was excellent.
That just going back to that '84 final. Is that right? I mean, I can remember. I don't know how it was at the Park Lane end, and I have no idea how he missed that chance. I mean, the ball came to him smack, and when you miss a chance like that, you never get a second opportunity.
Yeah.
The ball doesn't go out to the wing, come back in, and then go into the net. That just never happened.
Well, it was quite messy before Graham Roberts scored the equaliser, right?
Yeah.
And it was in the Park Lane end. I'm sure it was. The goal
it was.
scored. Yeah. And
But, I mean,
my it's the Park save and the players running over at Tony Parks, and the other abiding memory is and we'd won 2 FA Cups, 81 and 82. So if we'd have lost this, we wouldn't have losing, but we'd have thought, okay, we give it a go. It wouldn't have been like we've gone 17 years without a trophy. And then when the crowd sang, and if he scores a penalty, we won it. There's only one Danny Thomas. I mean, I thought that was Spurs. That was Klinsmann saying there's something unique about this football club.
Do you know when you drew in Europe in those days? We drew 1-1 in Brussels. You won the home leg. If you drew 1-1 away, you won the home leg. That's just what happened. I don't seem to remember there being many occasions.
And remember, we had the away goals counted double back then.
Yeah.
In 84, I can't remember exactly, but they changed.
Yeah, Paul Miller's the same as he scored the forgotten goal. Because everyone thinks of the second leg at Tottenham, but he actually scored the one in Anderlecht.
And I thought Morten Olsen was the best player over both legs.
Great player, wasn't he?
I'll be honest with you.
And he
I've
missed his
never seen the
penalty.
game,
He
so-
missed his penalty. And
Yeah, he did.
Well, I remember these stupid facts. I don't know.
Do you
But
know who missed the crucial one? Because it was Ida Gudjonsson's dad.
yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I can't remember his
Wow.
first name. It was
Parks
Ida.
drive to his right to save that last penalty because after
Yeah.
Danny Thomas has missed, I think he steps up. So now we're level pegging again.
Mm.
It wasn't like Thomas had lost and you're one penalty behind, if my memory's serving me right. And so, and then Parks dived to his right. And a lot of days in penalty shootouts in the modern game, the referee would be retaken again for the goalkeeper moving. I mean, Bruce Grovelar was a master of moving off the goal line, wasn't he? Right. So yeah, no, but yeah, I would love to just for banter. I don't care if we don't win it, but for banter, it'd be brilliant to win the Super Cup. Then we could go and say, world champions,
2 trophies,
Champions of
world
Europe.
champions, right? You know, Liverpool fans sang it when they won it. We're world champions now,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, we are going to leave it there on a very positive note.
I want to
Discussing
pump the channel though.
triumphs. In fact, we've discussed all three, 72 as well. So 234 of you. If you haven't liked and subscribed, Adrian, go on, take it away from here.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I will be doing a show Tuesday. Whether Friday or Sunday shows go out, I'll chat with you and all that about that. If there's something worthwhile to talk about, we will do at least one show a week. We hope it's not a waffle show. Hope we always bring you facts and interesting content. You know, if you'd like waffle, to subscribe, hit the subscribe button down in the bottom right hand corner. Yeah. You'll see it there, right? Like I say, we go at 9 o'clock on a Tuesday, 9 o'clock on a Sunday, and 10 o'clock UK on a Friday. Because Drew runs those podcasts, and it just helps the American, Canadian, and those in the Southern Hemisphere. So.
Enzo Schifo. And
can I just plug my channel?
Italian. He was a heck of a good
player.
player.
Oh, sorry, we didn't get any. Yeah, because it was a bit of a ad hoc show today. Go on.
If you go into YouTube, anyone that's still watching, and if you haven't already seen it, go to YouTube. It's Blue Sofa Songs. That's 3 words. There's a cup final song called "Bring the Cup Back Home," which I wrote before the final. But now that we've won the final, the song is now officially timeless. So please go and give it a view and a like and that. It's done reasonably well at the moment.
Yeah, I just want to thank all of you for your comments in the chat, all of you for your questions in the chat. We want to thank especially and a big up to those that watch us on playback. And with that, I'll hand you back to Ian. Oh, and one other thing before we go back, we have done quite a few intro and outro songs for the channel. We've got about 13 at the moment. So we'll have to vary them and bring them to you. You'll get everything. You'll get rock. You'll get heavy metal. You'll get soul. You're going to get all of that, right?
I've done a soul one, Brad. I don't know if.
Oh, really? Oh, brilliant.
I seriously want to say some thanks. I need to say first of all, thanks to the guests tonight. We've had a few on.
Yeah, brilliant.
So
you know who you are. You know who you are. You know who you are.
Kramer, Kev Clark, and Luke Burton, who've been on. Brad, you, obviously my co-host Adrian.
Julie
Cockerell has been in the chat. Jose, thank you. When we started this chat, you came on a lot and you broadcast your show, or you broadcast our show in conjunction with your channel, and I think that gave us a mega start to give us an audience. So very, very grateful for that. Jose.
I don't want to say the last thing, but all I want to say is someone asked me at the start of the season, "What do you want for this season, Brad?" And I would have said Champions League football and a trophy. Job done.
I said Europa League being this season final, and I dreamt that we won it, and I won 55 quid, so I'm happy.
Well, we'll go at the beginning of the season. Jimbo will be broadcasting with Kate, and Jimbo will be saying, the quad is still on. Before everyone's hit, the quad will be
brilliant. He's brilliant.
Thank you to everybody that supported.
Is it the Quint? Is it the Quint now? Because does the Super League, does the Super Cup count as next season?
Is
it the Quint or whatever the word for 5 trophies is?
It's August the 13th, so it'd be before the season starts. Hang about, I'll let you know when the season starts because I've got a banner here.
16th of August. And
But is it classed as next season though?
Yeah, Saturday the 16th of August. So no,
and I think
no,
the Super
it's
Cup's
still
on the
this season.
19th or something.
No.
So
It just means we win the double this year, Brad, instead of the quid next year, right?
Yeah. So, hey, you can make your comments in the chat. This is the outro I wrote, Brad. It's probably not your cup of tea. I don't think it's Adrian's either.
No,
but it's
no. Listen, I like
a bit of salt. I like a bit of salt.
So, hey, a little bit of tongue-in-cheek lyric here that I wrote as well. So, and do Blue Sofa songs. Do check out Brad's stuff.
And guys,
as well.
please subscribe
Yes,
to the
guys.
channel, leave a comment, give the videos a thumbs up. It really helps the algorithm. We're a year old in June. We're not going away. We're going to grow better, right?
Have a great summer. We will
Thanks
be
to you all.
broadcasting.
Thanks to everyone. Thanks to everyone.
Yeah, thanks. Seriously, big thanks from the bottom of our hearts. I'm taking you, as the proper DJ would say, and I leave you with.
We are Tottenham diehards. Something I can't explain. We follow through sun and rain. When we lose, we don't complain. Yes we do, oh we do. But Tottenham Hotspur, I will love you till I die. I will love you, I die. I will love you till I die, till I die, till I die. We follow through sun and rain. When we lose, we don't complain. Yes we do, oh we do. But Tottenham Hotspur, I will love you till I die. I will love you, I will die. I will love you till I die, till I die, till I
Excellent.
Hey, brilliant.
I just typed this in quickly because I like to rub it in, like.
We're actually still live.
Yeah, we are still live. That was great. That song was brilliant.
Why
Thank
haven't we
you.
got end stream?
Hang on. It's now saying play outro and end stream. I should have just played the outro, I think.
Yes. We'll end the stream then. I'll end the stream. Not yet. It says play outro and end stream.
I meant to play the outro
Well,
first. Oh
we
well,
could-
anyone who wants to. I'm happy anyway. Look,
Right.
We are Tottenham diehards. Something I can't explain. We follow through sun and rain. When we lose, we don't complain. Yes we do, oh we do. But Tottenham Hotspur, I will love you till I die. I will love you, I die. I will love you till I die, till I die, till I die.